This is a quick behind the scenes video of how I go about building and documenting my LEGO creations. Before I start building, I like to begin with the sketching process. It really helps flesh out the idea more. In this case, I wanted to build a tower that had fallen on top of a wall, with the characters now having to walk on what was formerly the walls of the tower. Unfortunately, I did not plan the scale out very well, and so about 2/3 of the way through, I ran out of bricks. I had to tear the entire thing apart and start anew. I decided not to do a time lapse of it because I was running out of time. That pun was unintentional. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and do a quick run through of my lighting setup here. For the background, I have a large piece of black mat board. You can get it at your local art supply store. It's clamped to the table, and the table is pressed up against the wall, creating a nice slope. As for my light source, I've got one single softbox. And what I really like about the softbox is it has a very even distribution of light. Now a softbox usually comes with this diffusion filter, which softens the light. Because I'm trying to replicate moonlight, which is hard light, I went ahead and took that off. As you can see here, I've taped some black wrap onto the softbox to help control it and guide it into a nice pool of light right on top of the MOC. If there was an angle where I needed a little bit more light, I would either turn on another softbox, or I would use this very handy LED light. It has adjustable brightness, and so it's very easy to use. Because of the light source being above, this MOC is very evenly lit. And so to guide the viewer's eye to certain parts of the image, I would sometimes use this white foam core board to block off some of the light on certain areas so the viewer's eye would be directed towards the brightest part of the image. As for my camera setup, I'm using an 85mm lens, and I've got the camera pulled way back. What that does is, if, for instance, I had a wide lens and got really close to the MOC, then it would create a lot of distortion in the image. Think of what happens when you use a fisheye lens. By pulling back and zooming in with the lens, it's closer to proper perspective. As for the camera settings, I just tried to keep my ISO down to minimize noise, and I had a very long exposure time because of the lights I was working with. And so to make sure that my image maintained its sharpness, I use this external remote. It's called an intervalometer, and that means I didn't accidentally bump the camera while I was taking the picture, thus reducing its quality. And then it's on to Photoshop. Now the 4 things I do to make this look like moonlight is I lower the color temperature to make it look a little colder, I lower the saturation, I lower the exposure, and then finally I up the contrast. Now understand that this is the basics. I still do quite a few adjustments to get my final result. Add a few special effects and the picture is complete.